Hello everyone. Mars will begin a transit into Virgo on September the 6th, and he will stay there until October 21st this year. During this time, Jupiter also is transiting in retrograde motion back for the final conjunction with Shani in Capricorn. This is a momentous turning point in the year. It won't be easy though, because during this time there's a little bit of a bust up, or shall we just say combustion, occurring between Mars himself, Mercury and the Sun. A lot going on. Let's see what it will mean for all signs. If you're new to my channel, don't forget to sub below, and let's begin. So let's begin, everybody, with the key dates for your diary, looking at the astrology. September the 6th, 21, Mars enters the sign of Virgo. Is this a good transit for Mars? Well, not essentially. Mars is never too happy in the sign of Virgo because he can't be impulsive, brave, and just take the actions he needs to take. He can't sort out things easily. Why? Because in Virgo, everything gets weighed down by the details. Notice that Mercury, ruler of the sign, is also in Virgo, and Mars is going to have a lot to do with Mercury in the next 5 or 6 weeks, as I'm going to show you. But first of all, let's understand what energies are going to come into everybody's life while Mars is in Virgo. Firstly, everybody's going to feel a lot of essentials that need to be sorted out all of a sudden become noticeable. All those loose ends that you've not tied up for so long, they're going to need tidying up now, and you're going to have the energy to do it. So the good news is Mars in this sign, especially with Mercury in Multricone signs so nearby, in a conjunction, is going to mean that you finally sort out finances, overdrafts, savings, accounts. Business people get really busy, and everybody starts to declutter their life in a really good way. So household affairs get sorted, office drawers get cleaned out, drawers at home get completely revitalized. Basically, everything in your life gets a real dust off. That's what's happening. But the problem is, everyone, that Mars and Mercury are enemies. So although all this positive cleaning out stuff is really going on, it's like an autumn clean, not a spring clean, basically. It's done with an element of criticism. There's antagonism. There's an irritated mood to Mars when he's in the sign of Virgo. Basically, nothing seems good enough, nothing seems perfect enough, and therefore Mars energy gets entangled in trying to perfect everything. A very critical nature comes into everybody's relationships. Friendships suffer through too much over-analysis during this transit and too much critique of everybody. So there's a lot of tension and nitpicking in everybody's relationships at this time. The next important date, everyone, a really big one, is September the 15th, 21, when Jupiter goes retrograde now into 29 degrees Capricorn in the same sign again as Shani. It's the final end point of the Jupiter-Shani conjunction that's been going on since the end of last year. Now, I've talked a lot about this retrograde motion of Jupiter in my past prediction videos this year. I've shown all of you that this is the moment when you finally make a huge decision that has long-term ramifications in your life. Now, I'll be putting up a video very soon, and I will link below, when I will talk in real detail for every sign about this final conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn. Please note that because the two great planets, Jupiter and Saturn, the most important planets by transit, are together in one sign again, it gives an imbalance to the whole setup of planets. It makes a great difference, and nowhere is this more obvious than when we get to the beginning of October. Note the dates in your diary, the 9th and 10th of October. Everybody circle them very carefully. At this point, we have a most important combustion occurring. The Sun combusts to Mercury and Mars in this stellium happening in Virgo, exact on these days. This is extremely important transit. Now, do you notice that now that Jupiter and Shani, as I say, are in the same sign, an important yoga has been created? It's a Shula yoga when there are 3 signs only occupied by the grahas: Virgo, Scorpio, Capricorn. I am not including Rahu Ketu in this instant because they are shadow planets. Shula yoga is a spear yoga, where there is a spear being formed in this way towards Capricorn, or in this way towards Virgo, or Virgo Capricorn towards Scorpio. Can you see how it's like a spear, how it's like the tip of an arrow? This means aggression is in the air. There is something going to occur which causes some distress in everybody's life around this time. So don't make a big decision. Don't get into arguments. Just try to stay calm. Meditate, because it's a very active yoga, and it's definitely going to affect world government. Now, the Sun represents governments, of course, Mercury financial markets and discussions, and Mars violence warfare. A very delicate moment around this time. Governments under threat because honest negotiation is not happening. Threat of warfare, violence is very real indeed. So a very tense moment, and markets are impacted also. Now, which Mahadashas are most impacted? I'm just talking about those most impacted by the Mars in Virgo transit only, everyone. So it's Mars Mahadasha as always, because Mars has changed sign, and definitely Mercury Mahadasha. Mars Mahadasha people will feel a real surge of activity and energy towards sorting out their lives. So many problems will be coming at you left, right and center, but you will get on top of them. You will be bogged down though in unexpected factors. That's the thing, because Mars in Virgo brings up nitty-gritty details that you have to deal with. Get to work, get your desk in order, get your house in order, and you will accomplish the most amazing things during these next few weeks. But watch out for health issues also, because Virgo is about the 6th house. So Mars Mahadasha, watch your health during this period. Mercury Mahadasha, of course, a retrograde period of Mercury is coming up, and I'll put a video about that soon. But most of all, you are feeling energized now. You know what you have to do, you know what business you have to sort out, and you will sort it out magnificently. Mars will irritate you though during this transit. You will feel like everybody is absolutely getting to you, criticizing you, and you're going to have to put up with that because you have a mission to accomplish, and you will definitely do so. You particularly also have to watch health aspect, but you will get right advice and get on top of all health issues. Next, the transit readings for everybody. Don't forget, as always, read from your Vedic moon sign, sidereal moon sign, to get the deepest implications, and add your ascendant sign also if you have accurate time of birth. If you really want to, you can also read from your D9 Lagna ascendant if you had that, to add an extra dimension. So don't forget, nobody's life has just one dimension. I hope these readings are good for you. Comment below. For Aries, Moon and Lagna, Mars in the 6th house is a dynamic transit for you. Mars is your Lord of your 8th house. The 6th house is a perfect position for Mars. As a malefic, he loves to be in this house. Especially from your Moon, it is very auspicious. But for both Moon and Ascendant, Mars in the 6th house gets you on top of all the issues. First of all, health issues. They're coming out now. They have to be dealt with. Even if you should have small animals, they may be having health issues also. But you will deal with them immediately with swift action, and it will be very, very favorable. Quarrels, contentions, litigations, conflicts, they're all ongoing now. They're all out in the open. You know exactly who you have to face, and you face them with great bravery. So you will be the winner in any litigation, in any conflict. So you will quite enjoy this actually, because Aries, you love to get things sorted. You like to directly face problems. Mars in Virgo gives you the chance to do exactly that. From this position, Mars will aspect the 9th house of father, guru, foreign travel, religion and education. You will sort out so many issues connecting to these now. If you are a student, you will sort out education problems that have been long standing. It's a great time for your education. If you need to travel into foreign lands, it will go very, very well actually. Yes, there will be hitches, but whatever the problems, you will sort them. So don't expect things to go smoothly. That's the point. But these issues are just hurdles to you, and you easily leap over them. Now, Mars in the 6th aspecting 12th house could, as I say, cause health issues to come to the fore now. Either your health issues, maybe small animals' health issues, family health issues. Health becomes a major factor in this Mars transit, but Mars aspecting this house will get you the treatment you need. You will get the right advice and sort things out swiftly, as I say. But there will be expenses. Mars will expand expenditure in your life, but you need to do this because many debts and long-standing financial issues can be sorted out at this time. Finally, Mars aspecting the 1st house is giving you vitality, health, and a great deal of self-confidence now. As I say, it's such a great transit for you to come out of hiding, show people what you are made of, and get success against all obstacles at this time. Of course, it goes without saying, watch out for the 9th and 10th of October like everybody else. That's when the litigation, quarrels, contentions, health issues, quarrels with your siblings, Mercury is sibling lord, may come to a head. So watch the beginning of October. Watch your temper. You're likely to fly off the handle when Mars, your lord, is combusted by the sun. You will just have blind rage, some of you, at this time. Take a few deep breaths. You're on top of things and you can get through this. For Taurus, Moon and Lagna, Mars going into the 5th house is a bit of a tricky situation. Particularly from the Moon, it can be particularly difficult. But don't worry, there's a way out of this, as I'll show you now. Mars is your 7th lord and your 12th lord. He brings events into your life through other people and through foreign lands. He's gone into your 5th house now. This is a house of education. First and foremost, if you are a student, it's a very difficult time to make a decision about education. You may start a new education course and feel a little bit lost in it to begin with. Stick with it. Don't just leave it because it seems to be something different to what you expected. Mars shows contention in educational setting during this transit. Mars is also in the house of children. If you are having children or you have children, Mars' 4th aspect to the 8th house shows that sudden illnesses, sudden factors come into the life of children. Don't be afraid of this. Take immediate action and everything will be okay. But you have to take swift action. That's what Mars is about. Of course, Mars rules your 7th house of relationships, and being in the passionate 5th house, passionate infatuations kind of care for some of you. If you are seeking a new relationship, that can be an ongoing love affair, which is becoming very dramatic now, but actually may be causing you some difficulty also. Watch out for speculation above everything because Mars has a 4th aspect on the 8th house and the 12th house of loss. Any dramatic financial speculation, anything that is not sorted out legally, above board and with expert advice now, financial risk should be avoided at all costs now, particularly if you are in business. Don't take a risk on the spur of the moment during this transit. It won't work out well. Now, the 4th aspect of Mars onto the 8th house shows that joint finances, taxes, pensions, wills, legacies, all need to be sorted now, particularly issues with in-laws. Somehow these can also be financial, need to be sorted, but it isn't going to be easy. It becomes a bit involved, so try to have patience with these. Mars aspecting 11th house can show a sudden job opportunity if you need that, but there will be a lot of competition with this. Mars aspect onto the 12th house, expenses. This is the biggest factor here because the 8th aspect of Mars shows unexpected, quick and enormous expenses coming to you that you didn't anticipate. Pay them off. Deal with it because you will get on top of all of these out of control difficulties when Mars finally goes into the 6th house in the October-November period. So it seems a bit overwhelming now, Taurus. You feel as though you've lost a bit of the control of the reins of your life, but you will get on top of these issues. Watch out for the 9th and 10th of October. Mercury, lord of your 2nd house and 5th house, with Sun and Mars here, causes a big blow up basically of all the issues I've been discussing. Children issues, education issues, financial concerns, expenses. Stay calm at this time. You will sort them out with your normal patience and strong sense of practicality. For Gemini moon and Gemini Lagna both, Mars is a difficult planet for you always. He rules your 6th house of quarrel, contention, and your 11th house of goals, earnings, but also punishment in life. So Mars is now in the 4th house of your chart. Such a strong turning point in this year for you now. And he's with your Lord Mercury. It's not an easy turning point though, because Mars in this 4th house causes all sorts of domestic upheaval. There can be sudden expenses, problems with your home property, issues with your mother's health sometimes, issues with your family, moving into the house, coming out of the house. Many of you also want to move at this time, but it's going to be a contentious and tricky time if you actually have to move. What's happening is Mercury strong in this sign of Virgo has given you a good edge on dealing with domestic issues. You may be working from home and it may be going really well, but then Mars comes into Virgo and all of a sudden everything blows up. All of your best laid plans for your home work environment explode, and out of control situations cause you a lot of stress. Basically, it's a very stressful home environment as long as Mars is in the 4th house of your chart, and it affects relationships because Mars has a 4th aspect onto the house of spouse. So quarrels with your spouse, quarrels about domestic setup are going to be ongoing. Try to remain calm and adaptable. You are eminently adaptable and you will sort these out definitely. If you are in business, particularly home-based business, a complete revamp of your working environment is going to have to happen. If you are not working from home at this time, tension with your colleagues in your workplace, particularly superiors, boss, etc., will be there. Try to remain calm because Mercury is not always happy in this 4th house and you are at a little bit of a disadvantage. You can't push things with superiors at this time. However, if you can do it without causing contention, Mars's aspect onto the 11th house shows opportunity for income increase, opportunity for extra income. Work opportunities are most definitely there, sometimes through your colleagues or through your friendship network circle. You will find these opportunities, but caution that it doesn't cause tension if it is an extra income for you. Important to remember though, Gemini, that your Lord Mercury is retrograde in the 4th house, and when he is in combustion with the Sun, Mars, of course, it's going to be a blow-up moment for you. It's a U-turn, but there's so many U-turns showing this transit. It's amazing. It's hard for you to make up your mind. You're so uncertain. But don't fear. After the 19th of October, Mercury goes direct. You will find true direction about work situations, income, and most importantly, domestic situation also. Cancer moon and Lagna, Mars into your 3rd house. Mars is lord of your 5th and the lord of your 10th house. He's a very good planet for you. He's a planet that helps you to get on top of the problems of life, and in the 3rd house he will definitely do so. Mars in the 3rd house makes a very active time in anybody's life. Discussions, ongoing communications far and wide, particularly in your career area. But here's the thing, this is also the house of signing documents. You may have to sign legal documents. 6th house aspect here at this time. Be care to take advice. Mars' aspect onto the 9th house of advisors. Take their advice, because when you sign a legal document with Mars here, you can be impulsive and not read small print. That's all you have to do. Just take a little bit of caution. Mars having an aspect onto the 6th house shows issues. Maybe there are contentions with your siblings, cousin, immediate family, and health issues coming up for yourself and for them. What you have to do is deal with these issues immediately. Once again, take good advice available to you now. If you take immediate health remedy, immediate action, all of these health issues will be completely contained because Mars is so strong in this third house. There may be litigation, court cases, etc. Once again, Mars puts you in the winning position during this transit. Mars's aspect on the ninth house of education is excellent for students. You have real enthusiasm for your course. You are virtually fired up, literally. Mars's fire element about studies. But don't be too impulsive. Don't make changes to the course. Try to get an easy way into any new study because you have so much enthusiasm. You will make a great impression in your education institution. The only really negative factor about this Mars third house is the 8th aspect onto the 10th house of career, but it's Mars's own house here, Aries. So what's happening is you're going to have, if you are working at this time, a showdown with a superior, a boss. It's going to be daggers at dawn virtually. Maybe not so bad, but words are going to be spoken. This is the house of open communication. Make sure that you don't say things you regret later. Be a little bit cautious, but these discussions have to happen. They've been needed for so long. So on the whole, it's a time for assertion in your workplace that has maybe been needed for some time. Just try to tone it down, particularly avoid the 9th and 10th of October when Mercury, Mars are combusted. That can make it impossible to get understanding. Leo, you've had a great transit of Mars in Leo and it's put you into the winning seat. You've been noticed by so many people. Life has been looking up and now Mars has gone into the second house. Hold fire a little bit now. All of a sudden it's intimate quarrels with family, issues with finances, business issues coming out of the woodwork causing you distress. Financial issues, as I say, have to be sorted by looking at the fine detail at this time. There could be financial shocks for some of you around 9th, 10th of October when your Lord Sun combusts with Mars, Mercury in your second house. Mars aspecting the 5th house indicates difficulties with your children. They may be getting themselves into some scrapes and they may be having health issues. Once again, Mars always shows fast action, remedies things really quickly. Students among you with this Mars in the second house aspecting the 5th of education and the 9th of education, higher education, loans, 8th house are going to be a big thing for you now. You may be reluctant about this financial expense commitment. Take advice. As long as you listen to good advice, you'll be absolutely fine. Some of you may be taking a big financial risk now, but here's the thing. Mars is your yoga karaka. He takes you to greatness. He always helps you. So you will have to take a bit of a leap in the dark financially, many of you, to sort out business and joint financial issues now. But if you do it with courage in your heart, it will work out long term. However, be really cautious around the 9th and 10th of October. If you are taking any speculative gain, market factors, etc., are going to destabilize then, and you could have loss at that time. So risk factors are there. Some will be excellent, but particularly around the 9th and 10th of October, extreme caution is necessary. So Virgo, Moon and Ascendant, Mars going into the first house of your chart is what you've been waiting for some time. Now, it's not an easy 7 weeks for you, but my goodness, do you get a lot done. You can finally get to grips with the things which you've been letting loose and not being able to attend to. You take charge of your own agenda. It's a powerful 7 weeks for you. Make the most of the opportunity. Now, normally speaking, because Mars and your Lord Mercury are enemies in that sense that Mars agitates Mercury and doesn't help to calm Mercury down, your Lord, this would be a difficult transit. But this time, because Mercury is in Virgo with Mars, strong in his own multicone sign, you can use Mars energy to your own advantage. Make the most of that, particularly in negotiations. Mars is your third house lord, so you are able to negotiate, sign business deals, contracts now that will be absolutely favorable for you long term. Some of you will be moving home because Mars has aspect on the fourth house of your chart. It's a very good time to renovate your home, change things in your home, move home, relocate, buy a property. It's all favored now. But Mars has an aspect onto the seventh house of your chart, opposition, which will mean that there'll be quarrels with your spouse about this move. There'll be contention in business relationships. It requires a big period of readjustment if you actually move house. But if you are not moving house, domestic issues, problems with your mother maybe, home issues become really contentious and have to be immediately sorted. But Mars gives you the energy and the ability to deal with all of these issues immediately in a really good way. You can in fact sort out relationship issues also, as long as you try to compromise. The issue is when there is this major combustion with your 12th house lord Sun combusting Mars and Mercury, your lord, there will be many misunderstandings with your spouse. 9th, 10th of October, underline the dates. Try to find the middle ground. Try not to blow a fuse, literally, because Mercury is retrograde and is not seeing the big picture. After the 19th of October, all of your spousal issues, family concerns will evaporate. Finally, during this transit, Mars has the important 8th aspect on the 8th house of your chart. So you are in the mood to make changes now. You are in the mood to transform your life in a major way, domestically, relationship, business-wise, and financially. You are completely unafraid of these new changes, and they are going to work out for you long term. So it's a transformative 7 weeks for you. Take the reins now. You have a lot of power in your hands. For Libra, Moon and Lagna, Mars is your 7th house lord, but he is also the lord of your 2nd house. He has everything to do with how you manage your business affairs, monetary affairs, and relationships, and he's gone into the 12th house of your chart. First of all, this will mean that Mars, indicating spouse, is having some problems. Your spouse, or even a best friend for some of you, or definitely a business partner, is having stress in their life, illness in their life, health issues, and it puts all of this stress back onto you, and you feel the burden of this. Trouble is that Mars in this secretive 12th house also compounds worrying nature. You feel overburdened by lots of worries during this transit. You may have sleepless nights and all sorts of forebodings. Try to remain calm and always discuss things openly with other people as you normally do so. Main issue worrying you though, and maybe spouse as well, is expenses, monetary factors, and your debts. You're looking at your debts, you're looking at your credit cards, your loans, and it's seeming worse than what you ever thought, some of you. Once again though, Mars shows you the way to take excellent action here. Don't forget, Mercury is Lord of your 12th house, Lord of your expenses, and he is with Mars in this house. Watch in particular for the 9th and 10th of October, when the combustion of the Sun here, Sun, Mars, Mercury, will just show you the way to get out of these difficult financial situations. It will be something unexpected, something that you've absolutely never thought of before. And when Mercury actually goes direct again and forward into Libra, which will be after October 19th, when he is direct, you will feel much relieved, much more confident about financial future. The good news about Mars 12th house though is that it really increases your intuition. If you spend time alone, which you don't normally like to do, but if you do spend some time alone contemplating things in peace and quiet, Mars will open up new ideas, new inspiration for you. Watch out for the 9th, 10th of October when Mercury is combust here. That is when those messages come through loud and clear. Watch your dreams most carefully at that time, because 12th house is the house of inspiration from your dreams. For Scorpio moon and Scorpio Lagna, particularly from the moon, this is an excellent transit. The Lord of your moon or the Lord of your ascendant is in the 11th house of your chart. This is going to give you the most tremendous power and ambition during these next 6 and 7 weeks. And most of all, you are able to attain them as well. Your Lord Mars in the 11th house of your chart, your 6th house Lord as well, helps you to get on top of enemy situations. There will be many quarrels, contentions, maybe in your friendship network circles, much coming and going. But guess what? You're going to find good connections. You're going to find networks that promote you, people that help you find new jobs, etc. All sorts of opportunities open up to you in the next 6 and 7 weeks. It's also good for your health. Mars is aspecting on 8th aspect the 6th house of the chart. This means that sudden health issues may come up, but you will deal with them almost immediately and help other health issues in the same moment that you do that, because Mars helps you to transform things by his 8th aspect. So these 6-7 weeks you can transform your health. You can find solutions to old health problems. It's all round favorable. If you are wanting to have children, you could conceive a child at this time. You can definitely have a successful childbirth also, and you can get to grips with ongoing issues with your children. There may be new issues coming up, but you will sort them. You're feeling very powerful, very focused, very much in control in this Mars 11th house transit. One of the best things for Scorpio about this transit is your financial affairs are finally sorted out. Mars has a 4th aspect of control onto the 2nd house. So family affairs, family finances, you finally sort them and you finally get in control of your own financial situation. Watch out for the beginning of October though. The dates I've given you on the video, the 9th and 10th of October, when Mars and the Sun, Mercury are together in a combust situation as I've described. This is going to be a make or break in some of your friendship network circles. And for some of you, it's the end of a job, not the beginning of a job, because you find something better. So the beginning of October, just take a little bit of caution there, because you need to see all the information. But generally, any new opportunity coming to you at that time means make or break in your job situation. It's time to take a new direction, which will be very lucrative long term. Sagittarius moon, Sagittarius Lagna. This is a very exciting transit for you, but there are some problems. You see, Mars in the 10th house is going to push you into the limelight during these next few weeks. In your job situation, there's going to be a lot of activity. Some of it good and some of it a little bit contentious. Here's the thing. Mars brings you good fortune. He's the Lord of your 5th house. Wherever he is, he brings you back good karmas. He is a friend to your Lord Jupiter. So Mars often helps you to push through insurmountable barriers, but he is also the Lord of your 12th house. As the Lord of your 12th, he brings a little bit of loss and unexpected factors into your workplace. What's going to happen is things that you hadn't contemplated are going to come up now. It's about the detail, as I've talked about at the beginning of the video. Mars in Virgo means so many loopholes, so many undercurrents going on that you didn't know about. All of a sudden, there's more to the job than you thought. If you've just started a new job, you're going to put so much energy into it, but it's going to be quite exhausting because there's going to be so much more that you didn't contemplate in this job situation. Some of you are pushing against the odds now. You're not happy with the job situation because of exactly all the things I've just talked about. You feel weighed down. It seems boring now. You want to do something new. Mars here is going to push you out looking for that new opportunity, and many of you might find it, but it is going to bring you into quite a lot of conflict with your superiors. So is it a good time to address the boss superiors? Yes, but be aware there will be conflict. Avoid the 9th and 10th of October. That's probably the worst time. That's the time when the sun is combusting Mars Mercury. Mercury, your 7th house lord, not a good planet for you. Do not approach superiors around those 2 dates, or it's just going to blow up completely. Mars's 4th aspect, though, on the 1st house is very good. This is aspect onto your health, onto your body. Mars is giving you power now to revitalize yourself, so your health gets a real upturn now. You get fit, you get into all sorts of fitness regime now, which can be very good long term. During this time, Mars' 7th aspect onto the 4th house, so can disturb family life. Domestic harmony can be hard to find. Family concerns, mother may also have some health issues, and partner may be involved in some of these disputes because Mercury is with Mars here. So partner may be having career issues also, and it's altogether disturbing domestic bliss and happiness. Mars aspect on the 4th house also makes domestic moves something which you may be considering, or many domestic issues have to be sorted, which can be very draining for you. It's not the easiest time for relocation, however. The 8th aspect of Mars is happening on the 5th house of your chart, which of course rules children. So unexpected events, because the 8th aspect of Mars brings unexpected events come into their life. Once again, swift action. Mars means swift action resolves issues like this. In your education, if you should be in education, there will also be sudden unexpected factors coming up. Once again, swift action resolves them. For Capricorn Moon and Capricorn Lagna, Mars is the ruler of your 4th house, but also ruler of your 11th house. He has a lot to do with where you're going in life, how you make yourself feel secure as well. And going into the 9th house is going to give you a lot of restless feelings now. You're going to want to travel. You're going to feel as though you need to get outside of your situation to get a new perspective on things. Trouble is that Mars makes some tricky aspects from here. He makes a 4th aspect on the 12th house, foreign lands and expenses, and an 8th aspect of unexpected factors on the 4th house of home. But most importantly, he is in opposition to the 3rd house of travel. This means that any foreign travel or even basic local travel becomes contentious. There can be quarrels, upsets, difficulties. Take it easy traveling during these next 7 weeks. If you are in education also, it's a big change happening here. Mars here shows that education goes forth swiftly and really with a lot of excitement for you, higher education, but also causes you some difficulty, particularly expenses. Watch expenditure, because you're going to get money, and as soon as you do, it's going to go again. There's going to be a lot more expenses involved in higher education in these next few months than you had anticipated. You're also going to have some domestic issues, everybody, through this period. The 8th aspect of Mars onto the 4th house shows that your domestic situation throws up unexpected factors. All of a sudden, as things need fixing, things that you didn't even know needs fixing, they all come up. And it all agitates you, because Mars, 9th house, makes you agitated, makes you feel restless, as I say. Now, the 9th house also rules father, guru, person who gives advice to you. Mars here shows that you may be seeking advice but not really wanting to follow it. There may be quarrels with father, guru, or with anybody, teacher, lecturer, advising you. You are not prepared to listen to advice at this time. Why? Because Mars has a 7th aspect onto the 3rd house of ego. So there's a lot of ego issues here. You basically feel that people are not listening to you, and that's the problem. So it's certainly a very agitated and restless period these next 6 or 7 weeks for Capricorn. How do you make the most of it? By taking preparation and caution. You may have to travel because Mars is in the actual house of foreign lands, aspecting 3rd house and 12th house, all to do with getting away from your place of birth or just traveling in some capacity. So travel may be unavoidable, but it is going to cause you issues. So take all preparation and things will be fine. So once you get over that really tricky period, 9th and 10th of October, particularly after the 19th of October, but even just after that main conjunction, travel becomes a little better for you, and particularly spiritual journeys are really favoured. Mars's 4th aspect onto the 12th house shows that spiritual insight comes to you during this time. Listening to your inner voice, to the supreme within, gives you confidence and calm at this time. Aquarius, Moon and Lagna. Mars is your 10th house lord, but your 3rd house lord. Going into the 8th house, he shows definite changes in your career structure, which will be unexpected and not really to your liking. You're just going to have to go along with these, I'm afraid. But Mars here gives you tremendous strength to transform your life once you undergo these changes. In addition to this, there are financial problems connected to Mars in this 8th house. Joint finances with your spouse, but also wills, legacies, savings, etc. Pensions need sorting, and sudden unexpected factors come to bear because Mars has a 7th aspect on the 2nd house of security. So you're not feeling too secure in this transit. It really feels as though something outside of your control is making life quite difficult at the moment. But the good news is that Mars has a 4th aspect onto the 11th house of your chart, which is the natural house of Aquarius in the zodiac. Here, of course, ruled by Sagittarius. This is really good. This means that even though you may have sudden career issues, concerns, you will find new opportunities almost immediately if you look for them. So you need to keep active because doors open, particularly network circles, friendships. They can show you where the next career opportunity is, and this will have a lot of lucrative benefits for you. So keep your nose to the grindstone because opportunities open up through action at this time. Expect some issues with your siblings, cousins and family members though. Mars' 8th aspect onto the 3rd house shows that quarrels, contentions, disagreements, misunderstandings are going to abound with these family members, and you yourself may be misunderstood many times in these 6 to 8 weeks. Why is that? Because Mars is everything to do with how you express yourself, as he is your 3rd house lord. The issue is, of course, that as an Aquarian, the 3rd house ruled by Mars makes you very aggressive in your speech sometimes. You don't beat around the bush, you just say it like it is, and you can have these really heavy moments when real contentious issues just come out with no holds barred. There's going to be one of those moments, particularly around the 9th, 10th of October. Be cautious. It could have long-term effects on your friendships and your siblings and even families, because don't forget Mars is aspecting family members as well. So everybody is feeling the brunt of your frustration at this time. Try to take yourself into spiritual pursuits. Mars in this 8th house gives you tremendous insight into spiritual and even occult matters. You can gain great insights from studying quietly actually at this time. Pisces, Moon and Lagna. Mars is in the 7th house during this transit, opposing to your moon or your rising sign. Therefore, he puts quite a lot of pressure onto you directly. And Sun, Mercury are, as I say, going to join here in a dramatic combustion at the beginning of October. There's a lot of contention with significant others for sure, but it's from anybody really. Mars puts pressure on you. Mars is in Virgo, so criticism and demands come from other people, and this means everybody in your life virtually, but particularly from the workplace and partnerships. But Mars in the 7th house doesn't just impact your spouse, it impacts you as well. You become super critical. Don't forget that Mars has everything to do with your ideals in life, 9th house, and your morals in life. So you're just criticizing each other really, and it's a really heavy and disturbing moment for relationships, particularly, as I say, 9th and 10th of October. But hold back, because actually Mercury's combustion here will actually give you insights into how your partner feels. So many of you with a deep understanding between you, which is already there, hopefully, you will express deep feelings at this time, and it could clear the air tremendously. You may be surprised. What you find about spouse is not what you expected. This really contentious combustion could actually bring you closer together in the end. If you are in business, it's a very tricky time. Markets are up and down. Businesses go through a complete crisis point during these next 6-7 weeks. You've got to hold on tight and don't push out the boat is the best way forward. If you are employed though, Mars in your 7th house with a 4th aspect on the 10th house makes you very contentious in the workplace. You just can't hold back. You feel the need to speak your mind. This can put you in direct conflict with superiors and your boss. You've got to be really careful who you confide in and who you talk to during this period. Good thing is though that Mars aspecting 1st house will help you to get on top of some health issues once again. Watch for mishaps, etc. But on the whole, you get fitter, stronger and more purposeful. Even though Mars is weak in this 7th house, because he is a friend to your Lord Jupiter, he can help your health during this period. Financially, though, it's a difficult period. Mars' 8th aspect to the 2nd house means that sudden strain on your savings, finances, etc. are there. But you can take this because you are able to manage affairs with the strength of Mars aspecting his own sign, Aries. So you take whatever steps are necessary here. So it's a choppy few weeks for you, Pisces. Watch for quarrels, watch for stress, and take as much time to yourself as you can possibly get. Hope the readings were good for you, everybody, and you got understanding of the current transits. Don't forget to sub below if you're new to my channel. Goodbye for now, and God bless everyone.